Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I am back with another reaction to The Walking Dead. We are on season 8, episode 6. Where has this season gone already? And this one is called The King, the Widow, and Rick. So that particular line, it definitely refers to kind of back to the episode where we followed Ezekiel and he had that weirdo that was, you know, torturing him and kicking him along for a little while. And he mentioned that, you know, the King, the Widow, and Rick were the 3 people that Negan wanted brought back to the sanctuary alive so that he could kill them as he saw fit and set an example to anybody who ever thought they could uprise against him again. So I'm not exactly sure if that means we're going to see all 3 of these people. I mean, we definitely have not been back to Alexandria since the beginning of the season, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. You know, Denai Guerrera being, you know, filming Black Panther, and what's her name, Kristen Serrato, she had just had a baby. So I'm curious as to what's going on with Alexandria, or at least, you know, like, can we get a scene? Can we get a reference? Anything would be nice. So I'm not sure what that means. What we know, outside of maybe us getting at least 3 different communities' viewpoints. We really haven't seen any of that since this season started, but it was very prevalent in season 7. We saw a lot of episodes that touched on all the different communities and how they're all working together. As far as the last episode, we had the whole canned episode, I guess you could call it, of Negan. We learned a little bit more about what happened before the apocalypse, in particular regarding the fact that he used to work with kids, as someone who, I guess, helped them get back on the straight and narrow, that he was married at least once, and that his wife passed away. She had cancer before the apocalypse started, but died during. And yeah, just basically that we kind of got a little more insight into why Negan is Negan. You know, like where his whole philosophy for why he actually thinks he's saving people in the way that he is conducting the sanctuary, and by extension all of his other satellite areas. So it was a very interesting episode, and you know, I'm still not Team Negan, but I can see a little bit where his lenses are focused and why he thinks he's the hero of this story. So I'm excited for this episode. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boop. Coral! Sorry, I haven't seen her in so long. I missed her. Ooh, Carol. Carol's cleaning her gun, thinking about how many times she's gonna shoot Negan.
By the time it was
I have a baby. Surprise!
There weren't any saviors left standing.
Maggie's like, I'm already having one.
It was over in seconds. Ezekiel, Jerry, and me were the only ones who made it back.
Oh, Jerry. Keeping that vigil, man.
All of it.
What? Why is Jadis naked?
Last fight.
What the? I don't... So garbage people got time for nude sculpting now? Is that what's going on? I hate this guy.
Keep it.
Oh, you're too good for it. Okay.
Hi.
Hi?
They're giving away our food.
Thank you.
A bumper crop of turnips in the root cellar. We couldn't get rid of it.
It's gone on long enough. I mean, hell, the gallows already.
Okay, you don't get to talk, Gregory. You zip it.
Bloody inside there is thinking.
Go inside.
Yeah. Go sit in the corner, Greg. Okay? Have a timeout. Big people are talking.
But when we do, we have to make sure what's left is worth what we lost.
Ain't got time for your sermons right now, Jesus.
The king is not receiving visitors.
Carol does not care.
I didn't need to do this anymore. This is what I do.
That's right. No one tells Jerry to go. Oh, thank you for getting dressed.
The saviors are finished.
No, that's what the pictures were for.
Their outposts.
Your choice is to forget Negan, switch sides again,
They were never on your side, Rick.
That Alex... Yes or no? What's it gonna be?
Say yes.
What I did was in the best interest of this community.
Best interest
How?
of Gregory.
I approach... And you can't have wolves wandering around amongst the sheep.
Is Gregory actually making sense right now?
It's as simple as that.
I'll be back soon.
You're going with her. You know you are. Hashtag feminism.
I was by myself for a while.
Jesus is like, I did not account for all the jibber jabber.
Bunch of survivors.
Why did you need to come out here?
She's worried about her baby. Is that singing?
I don't
What?
think that sound could reach the sanctuary.
He wasn't shooting at you.
Why is no one babysitting Carl?
I'm Carl. My mom told me that you gotta do what's right.
Lori
I know that
reference.
sometimes-
It's a throwback.
sometimes it's not. If I was honoring my dad, we wouldn't be talking right now.
Right? Rick's gonna be so mad.
And
Okay, is he alone? Why does nobody babysit in these communities?
Happens to kids when they go wandering around in the woods. They never get seen again, and if they do, they're monsters. Is that what you want? I'm not scared.
Oh, that was a Sophia
And you're
reference.
stupid.
Stay close.
I wouldn't want him behind me with a gun. Sorry.
You're right, Gregory. In fact, I couldn't stop thinking about what you told me yesterday.
Is she gonna put him in there?
You see, I grew up on a farm. I know all about sheep and wolves.
Yes! Yes, that's for Father Gabriel, you douche.
Eduardo, don't tell me to calm down. I'm not gonna go.
Sure hope your suit comes in prison colors, Greg.
Well, you already got some people killed, didn't you?
Just kill him. Oh. Perfectly clean clothes, ruined for nothing.
Your dad didn't want anything to do with me. He didn't, but
I'm a teenager and I need to
sometimes
rebel.
it's the wrong way.
Get it done then.
Oh, my sister. There's gonna be some black on black violence right about now. Is that a glue gun? So I was like, oh no, 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 no. She is so not in the mood for melee. Oh no. Oh, you have to die now. You can die. No.
Drop it.
A little overkill, but I'm okay with it. Damn! Oh my god! Sorry. I'm sorry, the combination of the opera music and... Well, isn't Daryl just the magical genie of showing up right on time?
Truck full of speakers.
Are you guys out here?
Just taking a stroll. Of course, Jerry's snacking.
Jerry. Stand next to Henry.
A whole pie, Jerry?
Yo!
Whoa!
Door's not locked.
Thank you, Jerry.
You are real. To me.
Aww.
To the people need King Ezekiel.
Amen, sister.
And if you can't be the king, then do what you do best and play the part.
I like that.
Every day.
Ah,
You already screwed up once.
I might like this
Why
guy.
don't you get us all killed?
Sorry, no sympathy for you, Greg.
Let me come with you. You're right. We need to win.
Well, it's either that or the closet, so... So, does this mean they expect Rick to start sculpting, or... That was episode 6, which was called The King, the Widow, and Rick, and it stayed true to title. We got to see a little bit of an update on those particular characters and the respective communities that they came from. I'm still struggling to figure out why we needed to see Jadis sculpting naked. I mean, I'm sure the actress is very comfortable in her own skin. She looks like she's very healthy and fit, but I failed to see why that scene was necessary. But I guess it was just to reinforce that they're weird, which we already knew. I'm not sure. Maybe the imagery was just to also show that Jadis and her people feel comfortable and safe enough that she can be, you know, I mean, being naked is pretty much the most vulnerable you ever are in this world. So the fact that she was like, no weapons, not even any clothes, and just doing some arts and crafts in the zombie apocalypse, I guess it says a lot about how comfy Jadis feels. She obviously feels no danger from the Saviors, and I guess she didn't really feel any threats from Rick and his group or anybody else. So that's what I'm going to take that to be, and not just some random nudity. But I guess we might as well just talk about that whole situation with the garbage people. Like, I get what Rick was, I get the reasoning, I guess, to why Rick went there. Obviously, even though they have some people, more people in this war is always better than less. But I'm assuming that maybe this was a backup plan in case they lost too many people. And of course, losing the entire group, essentially, of the kingdom, that was a huge blow that they didn't expect. So, I don't know, I'm thinking it was just like a backup plan, but it's just not a good idea. Right? You never go to a group of people who are willing to play either side, which again, I guess they're technically not, because Jadis did say no and she's holding Rick hostage at the moment, but it's just a bad plan. Like, Jadis is not going to agree to anything like this because there's nothing for her to gain in going against the Saviors. And I get that. Like, last season, Jadis made it pretty clear that her biggest concern was keeping her people safe and making sure that they were armed and that they basically stayed out of everyone's business unless it, you know, it benefited them in some way. And as it stands, Rick's group really has nothing to offer Jadis. Jadis has food, she has weapons, you know, they scavenge and get what they want. That deal really, even though Rick gave the whole, oh, you know, you join us, otherwise we'll destroy you. Yeah, I mean, it's motivating, but it's, you know, unfortunately, Rick kind of lost his leverage where that was concerned, in the sense that he didn't, like, take out a handful of her people right off the bat or something. Negan, I don't agree with it, of course, but Negan is effective because he doesn't allow you to believe that he will not follow through. I mean, I get where Rick was coming from, but it just wasn't a strong argument whatsoever. And Jadis doesn't really like Rick, you know what I mean? I mean, like she said about 3 times, she's like, dude, I shot you. Like, I literally tried to kill you. I tried to kill your wife, your girlfriend. I tried to kill your whole family. Like, why would you come here? I don't think you're very sane right now. But so far, they've seemed to have a really sound plan up until this point. So I'm gonna hold out a little faith that Rick knew that this might happen and has some sort of contingency plan built in. And I just don't know what it is. Tara, very interesting conversation between Tara and Daryl about Dwight. And it's pretty bad that I forgot about why she would hate Dwight so much, but knowing, of course, he was the one who killed Denise, and she knows that. So yeah, I guess it's so hard because this show, of course, goes over, you know, a couple of years, but in the showtime, you know, Denise's death was only like maybe a few months ago, you know what I mean? So it's still or weeks ago. This is all very fresh for her. She's still very much processing it, and I get why she wants to kill Dwight, eye for an eye and all that. However, I wonder, you know, I do wonder, I mean, if they go the way of the comic, we know that it probably won't happen, but I think it's very interesting that she's thinking that killing Dwight when it's all over is going to, like, fly. I don't know, it's just her and Daryl are both on this path, and well, I mean, Rosita was before, of just kind of like, we're just gonna do whatever we want, we're gonna kill whoever we want, and we don't care what any of the repercussions are. And it blows my mind that even now that they're still, you know, that Daryl and Tara and all these people are just thinking about going off the reservation at this particular moment. Like, they're in the middle of something, and like Rick said to Daryl, rightly so last week, we have a plan. We set up a plan. Like, we took so much time to put it together. We have to stick to it right now, because we change it up and we risk, you know, losing the whole coordination and everything going to hell, and we just might end up basically screwing ourselves, right? So stick with the plan for now. Like, I don't know what's so hard for Daryl and Tara and the rest of them to just understand that for the moment, for the time being, you know, they need to stick to this plan. Once it's executed, then they can start to think about whether or not they need to rebel against Rick as far as some of these decisions. But right here and now, they need to fall in line, or more people are going to die unnecessarily for their hastiness in revenge. Which I guess we might as well talk about them, you know, coming up to the sanctuary again. What does Daryl mean they're going to end it right now? Like, how? I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, there's no feasible means that I can think of that they're going to be able to end it short of what, blowing up the place? I mean, they have this truck. I don't know what's in the truck, but I can't think of any way that they can end the sanctuary right here and now that's not going to end in their own people potentially dying. Oh, wait, actually, maybe Daryl doesn't know that Father Gabriel's there. I guess he doesn't know that he's in there yet. But digressing, there's just no way I can see it happening. Oh, I don't know what Daryl's plan is. All I know is it's just going to get people hurt, especially my girl Michonne, who is clearly not at 100% right now, and I need her to just chillax. And since we're there, we might as well talk about my homegirl Michonne. I missed her. I missed her so much. It was so nice to see her face again, see her broody little stare and just her general badassness. Although she, you know, we're seeing that Michelle, who's that? We're seeing that Michonne, the goddess, is indeed human. You know, she's not 100%. She's not ready to fight yet. And I just knew when they went into that whole situation, was that a factory or a school or whatever they were in, I knew it. I'm like, watch the one who's going to end up in a melee fight be Michonne, just because she's not physically ready to deal with that. And sure enough, my horror homegirl got, you know, hit a few times, and her body does not need that. She got beaten soundly in the season finale last year, so she did not need anything like that. But I'm just glad that it ended before she ended up busting some stitches or worse. Again, I don't know, the whole girls' crusade was a little bit weird as well. Like, I do get the idea of them wanting to see it. You know, Michonne being left behind is so outside of her nature that I totally get that she was like, no way, no how am I okay with sitting back, knitting, waiting for my man to come home when he's out there fighting for something that I believe in. But, I mean, I don't know. It just could have been done better, I guess. They really weren't prepared. Neither her or Rosita were prepared to take on that particular, that task. You know, and they're both extremely lucky that Daryl was there, not only because he stopped that truck from actually, you know, getting to where it was supposed to, but of course, Rosita using an RPG to kill one man that's pretty epic. Wasteful, but epic. Next, I guess we could talk about Ezekiel. Not surprised that he's, you know, he's going through some stuff right now. You know, he's somebody who we saw all the way up until the episode that was his canned episode. He's really been trying to maintain this positive outlook, this positive thinking, keeping the people of the kingdom, their spirits up, their hopes up. And it wasn't a bad thing, like, by any stretch of the imagination. It really is, I think, what bolstered them to be able to do what they probably would not have thought they were capable of doing before this. But, you know, losing everyone like that, being one of the sole survivors, you know, that's just always, I mean, survivor's guilt is real, and Ezekiel is feeling it in a big way because he's alive, because those people literally created a human shield. And he's gonna have to live with that, even though, I mean, it wasn't like he told them to, but it's still, I get it. It's super painful. And it broke him. You know, it really did kind of break him in this moment. And I'm okay with him having this little moment. He's never been in this position where he's had anything real at stake, if that makes sense. You know, yes, he's led these people for a while. He helped them build the kingdom. He made the deal with Negan's men. But all those things were kind of in a way that, you know, he was risking it most himself. But this is the first time that he really had to do something that risked the lives of others and had so many people put their trust in him. And while he didn't really break it, it does feel that way, you know, and so it's a heavy burden. I don't blame him for needing to take a moment and really reassess just how huge his responsibility is as a leader if he didn't feel it before now. But that whole conversation between him and Carol was great. I love that she harkened back to the fact that, like, you know, when I was lost, you know, as we saw in season 7, Carol was in a despondent place. She was in a place where she wanted to withdraw. She wanted to kind of give up on people and society and all that stuff. And then Ezekiel was just like, no, I see something in there. I know that there's still something in there that's worth fighting for. So I'm going to keep nagging you until that person comes out. And like Carol said, like, she's still not quite okay, but she knows that this is important and she knows what she has to do to get to being okay. And she said that to Ezekiel, which I thought was a fantastic line, where she's like, if you don't feel like the king right now, if you're not the king, you need to fake it until you are, right? Because it's like, it's not about you right now. And it's a huge, it's a really good, it's just a good viewpoint on what leadership is in of itself, is that, you know, being a leader is not being, you know, it's not about just being a leader when things are good. It's easy to lead people when everything's, you know, peachy keen. What really brings out the true leadership skills, the true, you know, those actual qualities is when you have to lead when things aren't going well, when things are unsure, when things are devastating. That's really where the true stripes of a leader will come out, when they handle things when things aren't easy and serene and going the way that they're supposed to. So this is really going to be a turning point, I think, for Ezekiel. I mean, I think he always took being a king seriously, but I think he's really going to look at it with new eyes now once he gets past this. And I do think he's going to get past it. He just kind of needs his moment to kind of feel sorry for himself a little bit. But Carol, I mean, you can't have a better badass at your side to help you get through something like that than Carol. And I think this whole moment, this whole experience between the two of them is definitely going to bring them closer together. And I'm sorry for all you, you know, Carol Daryl shippers, but I think Ezekiel and Carol is going to happen. Ezekiel is going to happen, y'all. Carl. Why is it whenever this child is left unsupervised, he gets himself into trouble? Why is that? Like, seriously, since the very beginning, this child has needed constant supervision. Whenever there's no adults around him, Carl goes and does something foolish. Now, again, the jury's out on Sadiq. From what we've seen so far, he seems legitimate, maybe slightly crazy, which happens when people are alone for a long stretch in the apocalypse, but, you know, he might be okay. You know, the fact that Carl had to go, like, right now of all times, it's such a teenage boy thing to do. You know, it's just, it's frustrating. I don't know what this is about, actually. I'm hoping we'll get some more context as the episodes go on as to why Carl is so adamant about saving this guy. I don't know if it's maybe some kind of manifestation of guilt over the amount of lives they're taking for this war, or if Carl's just needing something to do because he feels helpless in the fact that he can't be actively part of this war. I don't know. I don't know where this is coming from, because it's not like he needs someone to take care of. Judas right there. So I don't know. I'm hoping as the season continues, we'll figure out why Carl's so obsessed with Sadiq and saving Sadiq and bringing him in. And finally, Maggie. Maggie figuring out what to do with all these saviors that Jesus just dumped on her doorstep. Thanks, Jesus. It was just, I don't agree with what Jesus did here. I do agree with the philosophy behind it. He's absolutely right in that you shouldn't be quick to kill. I mean, they're in a world where people are dying way too frequently anyways, to just, you know, indiscriminately kill. I get it. But in this war, and especially with Negan's people, it's so hard to tell at this point, especially while Negan is still presumably alive. They can't take the risk of, you know, they don't know who's really Negan versus who's just there because they don't want to die. They don't have time to flesh that out at this point. So to take hostages is just dangerous. It's almost like maybe if he didn't want to do it, like Morgan was totally in clear mode. Like he could have just been like, okay, Morgan, like I don't like it, but do what you gotta do, bruh. I love that Maggie, I like the way she handled it. Maggie realized that making an enemy of Jesus, or at least getting him too far on an opposing viewpoint as her, was not a good idea at this point. She definitely needs somebody with Jesus's expertise and with his skills. But at the same time, she's pragmatic enough to know that it's not going to work. Like keeping, especially that many, I didn't count, but it looks like there was at least, 12, 15 men there. That's way too many mouths to feed. Way too many dangerous people in their midst. And then of course there's that bloody redhead who is inevitably going to cause some shit. So, I think she came up with the best solution that kind of keeps everything on a very, very shaky balance. They stay alive for now, so Jesus doesn't have to have a complete panic attack, but she's being completely honest and upfront with Jesus and saying, listen, they might work out to be bargaining chips. I mean, they're not. We know that. The saviors will kill each other before they'll do the whole hostage thing, but for now, she's like, we'll keep them as potential hostages for our people, but if we don't need them or they're not willing to make a trade, gonna have to kill them. That was basically the episode, guys. It was a little bit slower paced generally than the other ones have been. I didn't mind having the status update of some of the people we haven't checked in with since since episode 1 and 2. But it really didn't do much to move the plot forward per se, but it's all well and good. I got to see Michonne, so I consider it a win-win situation. So what did you guys think of this episode? Do you think that what Rick did was super stupid, or do you feel like he's got a backup plan that none of us have quite thought of, or maybe I just didn't think of? Also, do you feel like that Maggie made the right call? Do you think that she should keep the saviors in this pen that didn't look all that sturdy, or do you think she should just wait till Jesus goes for one of his little runs and just take care of the problem herself? And also, what do you think about Carl and his whole Project Sadiq? Do you think that this is a means to an end, or do you think that Carl might be going a little Looney Tunes? Please leave your comments below. I love reading them. You guys always have such awesome discussions and I absolutely love it. So keep them coming. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, guys, I'd really love it if you did. And if you like this video, go ahead and click like. Until next time, see ya.